Tati dewa di imba wa dewa di chekana chida memo sudu ngan pa di chingsarwa chida memo sudu ngan pa sati chida meo chinasa wana sa mili chimanda tida chadi najiran jinte Dubai only to a regiment.
Give her shot.
No.
Give her shot.
Jara Kazi.
What's your thing?
Jara Kuchukoshi Timbere. Another victim let them out. Ah. 이제까지
굽적겁제.
자자들이 밑에 좁고좁고제. 다디기 지대명우 송해세디 따와디. 칭타인 바에 손치. 와다 디기 지대명우 송해 지대명우 송해 과도고 전 이게 간단 나다. 아마나 소 제사드네 지단지 지단 미무송에 괴메다 괴메 돈에도니 도줄라 마지 자유 바니 지진지 제제베 랑도 나시 나이 미다 미셰더 스버기와 괴메 침신지 마다 섬제 마이된 비메신 스베데 대체세라
배 차래.
대체자로와
배다 튼 차네. 되게
다디 대화디. 다디 대화되라. 매다 된지도 간라 대화되라. 미치 미만해지. 비밀들을 제거 좀 해서 상관은 조금 천천히. 들어와. 비밀신 디신강 디신강지 여바 관계를 주면가는 비밀을 됐으면 사랑하는 저 그러면 가면 청년들 스타디임을 나
다래
지제의 감리 대니 대의 감리시 재밀리를 주제 대진 바심
디참지 텐다
대차선
텐들와 줄로가 자세데 연기들 디워들
그러면 가면지 지단 나기 수신 세시 수팀 아디 대화티 치마서 재밀 비밀을 주제 건지
저와치 말해
저 치마서 대대 지다 비밀이라 주제 거지 믿을 수 있는 바 나다 산는 내가 그러면 가봐 동아 청년 딸 대신 다랑 나네 그 주자 그러면 너된 바 정말 이모 왕기 이마 시에 동아 시라 네 세다 셔버들이 계세지
So for the expanded explanation, you have the root verse 124. Just as although a lord of the earth dwells in the womb of a woman wearing smelly clothing on her body and dwelling and having an ugly form, she undergoes supreme suffering in a protectorless dwelling place. So although there is a protector dwelling inside their own minds, transmigrators have a protectorless mind, dwell in a state of suffering due to a mind made unpeaceful by the power of the afflictive emotions.
Oh yeah, that did it. Dewa 지다 비밀기 류라티 아니 저마다 제일 그 전바 아니 미도 비수단 덴베 다가지 나나 나장 미셰바 괴메 칸바 동아지 아니 동아지 초녀와 티신도 섬전지 나나 예비 괴여바 교장 감다시 괴메기 로단 덴바 아니 좋아 니몽고 왕기 이긴 구바스나다 동아 거니 이기 구바 타다 마시바 아니 거기 동아지 실내와 남지 거기 동아지 실내와 남지 아니 니몽 시위 체도 아니 좀 되지 안 산제 그 쉐던 잡아레스
So just like this example of an ugly woman with very worn-out clothing carries in a womb, carries in a home this great protector, but not knowing that, then it's like suffering and protectorless. In the same manner, then sentient beings, not knowing the protection that resides within their own mind, the Tathagata essence, then goes through all the sufferings of the afflictions and so forth. So, in order for this to be known, then the Buddha taught the Dhamma. An ugly woman wearing an old clothing or old worn-out clothes carries the load of the earth in her womb, and she doesn't know it, and living in an unguarded house, she suffers greatly. Likewise, there is a protector living within sentient beings themselves, and yet the forces of afflictions disturb their unguarded minds, and it is in order to pacify these afflictions of those dwelling in the sufferings of samsara that the Buddhas teach the Dhamma. So it's not like it's not the direct means to getting rid of the obscurations, but it is through through the Buddha's teaching the method that allows for the removal of these obscurations. So then the next is the illustration of the adventitious nature of the defilements found in the pure levels. In the similar format, the teachings being the example, the meaning, and the removing the obscuration. And the example is in the root verse 125, just as having seen a statue made from melted gold inside an earthen mold of full size with all features, its own entity being quiescent of defilement, but its outside having a nature of an earth mold. One who knows this removes the external obstruction in order to cleanse the gold inside.
아니 세시마래 체비 아니 디시시 구수 아니 야라 탐제抓버리 제바 아니 세지 시와 치료지 사이랑시 진발을 요바 세지 시와 아니 치료 사이랑시 진발을 요바 토네 대시와 다기 아니 난게 세지 장위 치도 아니 치료 그 사이
So So, so in this example, then you have the clay mold that holds the image of the complete image of a Buddha made from molten gold. And so, just as one removes the clay mold and cleans the image of that, the Buddha, that makes clean that image of the Buddha from any of the sediments of that clay mold. And the meaning of this this example is in root verse 126. So having perceived that the defilements of the natural clear light are adventitious, transmigrators who are like the earthen mold, which is the location of the precious substance, are cleansed of defilements and become supremely enlightened. So this verse denotes that the mind is clear light, luminous, and that the defilements are adventitious. There are obscuring defilements, but those obscuring defilements of the mind does not exist in the nature of the mind, and therefore are removable and therefore adventitious. So the two lines of the verse, transmigrators who are like the earthen mold, which is the location of the precious substance, are cleansed of defilements and become supremely enlightened, are the two lines for removing the obscurations. So, because the basic element by nature, by nature pure, and because of that potential for development in that nature, so it is a source or basis upon which all of the qualities of the Buddha can be generated, and so for that purpose, then in order to accomplish this, then they purify the defilements of the mind. The Buddhas clear away all obscurations from sentient beings who are like the sources of great wealth, in that they are basis for the development of the limitless Buddha qualities and bring them to the attainment of supreme enlightenment. So, who purifies these obscurations or these obscuring defilements is the supreme enlightenment.
Oh yeah, 다디니 도대디 치니 다시 샤바텔라 지사 팀에 세발레샤 사이나도 추줄수 시대랑신 개외리네 사다세와 샤바달 대신 군전 답비스 이 세자 시위인이 천주네 최저 수지 대전 주배 주바단이 세와체 세다되기 말에 다와티체.
And for the expanded explanation, you have verse 127. Just as one skilled in making statues, knowing that a statue contained inside an earthen mold made from blazing undefiled gold has a nature of quiescence, since it is without defilement, removes the earthen mold. So the omniscient wisdom of the Buddhas, knowing the quiescent mind like pure gold, removes the obstructions through exposition of the doctrine, which are the methods for this, by means of accomplishing the gentle pressure of the stroke that removes the earthen mold.
아니 지름부지 다제지 라신라 케베르네 된다와데 림부지라 다제체와 케베르네 아니 된다게 치 사다 세와 체바 다르 벨라체.
So the example is one skilled in the examination of the precious substance would know of the beautiful and pure form made from the molten gold existing inside a clay mold, and would set about removing that clay.
Oh yeah, 군제지 나바탐지 집이 이시지 답이 세단 자와 시위 라시 남다 쳔바주네 섬지라지 예사와디 쳔바주네. 어 된다위 렘보체라 예비 담술라 소비 아니 대제 그 세와체와 나신 그와 아니 루부지 트만 종제 아니 가서래 루부지 잡아 좀 대바 종제 티바 숨지람 냐지 티바다 라자이 티바당 산제지 티바기 람숨지 아니 람대우다 잡아 잡아 티바 숨지 람대우다 잡아 시내주당 람진내우주당 대위내주당 바 대우단 잡아 잡아 집이 아니 철체비 추지 아니 탑지 대전 주배 안주바다 세와자바 레서 치임바다.
And the meaning of that example is likewise the omniscient one knows the natural purity of the mind to be pure like gold, and as one would chisel away at clay to reveal the jewel inside, he removes all the obscurations with the chisel of teaching the Dharma of the three vehicles, complete with the paths, in the basis, path, and fruit, to remove the adventitious defilements.
아니 저마디 종제당 아니 리바치다 치다 세발라 세우출라 소바다 바레 다다야 대송한테 구어티기 그봐.
And so
진짜 대체 가서래 감대할 집이 임보되라 샤 콜라 안 디브세 가서래 디브세지 리바차와데 커테체 다 디브제데라 전지 디브제단 투송고 끝나 잡아라서 마 배차 배정이 디브제니 산투니 데리다 배 예버세네 처마자롱기 처마탐제 자롱기 로부와당 대종제 대당 리바담 지다 세위추 예와담바레.
So all of these verses then point out the obscure phenomena and the obscuring phenomena, the obscuring by way of the example, meaning, and as well as the detailed or expanded explanation of those obscuring phenomena, showing that they can be removed, that they are adventitious, and what are the factors that dispel or purify them.
Oh yeah, that's it. That's what turn to the 참자와다 자와단자와 다부 참자대 배남지 뒤 터노스 다 이와라 집지 배당 집제 배당 세랑신 남달라 정말로 보고 주바 터도
Then for the summary you have the link, the root text and commentary, and so for the root text then you have the examples for the obscured phenomena and the mind naturally pure but with adventitious defilements, and now you have the verse for the obscuring phenomena, examples for the obscuring phenomena.
That Zawala was a day. Zawade call us Jubatan is so much. That very much to check it out.
Sangetanze.
No. Jubatan is so much set up and did to cheat it one. Dipchiti. Dipchiti to check it that let you say somebody to Matona. You want a Sanjay shows a teen Jan and Bama Puna Shewan, I say Puna and was Sishu Jato. Sumba some Jay comes in Yamon Puna. Some Jay comes in Yamon be boop, Ransi Maduchi, some Jay Ransila, Mashube and it's Yamobata Mandreva. Tutomana Yuba, some Jay Ransi Dembe Tonwa. And it's Maransi Meba teaching you should be in Bonnie, Toma Mebana, Yuba Jodi, the Chisunda.
Gain category, Tanda.
No.
Category.
I don't let our come to do that. Sumba turn to a Samja Zawa and Java, Sumduga. Samja did you want some Dibjig Bedang, Dibjig Bedang, some generation number tower, which Mantua turned doors. Zawa did that deal. You get the Maga Dibjitera, Dibjitira, Bamasunja Pomada, Bumba Tani Mizasa, Jason Kuru Pimage, Mada Sai Buna Yang, said it, Dibjitri.
And the Kong la Shulokachilena Sakan. The Kong da Shulokachile.
Local Yamari.
Sange Dangzi.
Yama Deb Tower Yamari. Mundua Chenine. She did Rashi Kever in the Sada Sawa Chabata. They had the Tabi there. The Kunjan Tabi said that she was in Chenjube. Cheji, the Jet Jubatan is Sawa there. Then Demons are Yamari.
Yes.
Dua. That and the Diginala. Zawa said, the Zawa than Java Tabo Benham, you are some Dibjig Bedang, Dibjig Bedang, Rashinta Lord Chimam, but Juba turns said that to check Bede did it. Indeed, Bama, Soja, Bama Gassishi, Kula Truba, Soja Pumaki, and the Tantila Triba, Bimbaki, and Yimbola Triba, the Shedugana, Bama Soja Pumata, Bimbatani, Misansa, Jashin Kuru Pimeji, Maya Sai Pumnaya. When I young, that didn't sound that in which station depression said, you said the Seguari. Rather, the all of Tungu and the Devate Jagadua. All of Tungu, somebody, that's one. Somebody, some you come in new mom book, Ransi Matusin. Nimon Korang, Rashi Matubares. Nimon Samji Rashila Mashuba Yenzang, Asamji Rashida Mandrawa. Ti Tomana Yube, and Samji Rashi Debatove, Chima Meba, Rashi Meba, Tishi Imbotella, Toma Mebana, Toma Mebana, and Yoba Imba Giogre. Or that's some Rashi, Tomba, Toma Mebana Yobare.
So, Ramchi went to page 170, the mind naturally pure, but with the adventitious defilements. The coverings of the afflictions in the realm of sentient beings do not exist by their own nature, nor are they part of the nature of the mind. Therefore, they are unconnected. The nature of the mind in existence since beginningless time is the emptiness of true existence, the Tathagata, the essence, empty by the nature of defilement. Empty by the nature of defilements. This is said to have existed since beginningless time because the mind has never existed by its own nature.
Oh, yeah. And then that, do not say the Ribje Bedan Tama Lubo subject Sungunani. Doro do not teach you in Doro, Be Jobata, Damban Dini, and then some year come Maluba, some Rashi Tomba de, come Maluba, Toma maybe, some Rashi to a Tombe, Gunan Yumobich, Lubu Anita, Tomba Yizang, some Rashi, the Timel Lubum, Leba Mashuba Yizang, Gunan Yumobich, Chimateta, Lubu Anita. Toma maybe some Rashi Tombe, number Jami,
and the commentary to summarize the similes taught in the Tathagata Essence Sutra explain that the mind which has existed without beginning in all realms of sentient being is empty by nature, and therefore the afflictions are adventitious, and that this beginningless mind, being empty by nature, is inseparable from the innate development of the qualities of enlightenment.
That's much you're going to do. You are paid somebody turn social shabalas. Paid somebody turn social shabalas. I paid somebody turn social shabbat.
And then the next part is, giving the explaining the specific meaning of everything that has been illustrated by those examples. So the individual explanation of the phenomena illustrated by the similes, types of the obscuration of the basic element, type of the person obscured, correspondence in the similes of basic element obscuration, and correspondence in similes of the obscured basic element. So then types of obscuration of the basic element, the link, the expanded explanation, and the summary. And you have for the expanded explanation, you have the root text and the commentary. The root text is under 3 outlines the division of the obscurations into 9 defining characteristics, the illustration by simile and limitless divisions.
Ani Bumbatani Mezansa, Deshin Kuru Pimeji, Mada Saye Bumna Yang, said the Tipchi de Tenduache.
So verse 129 is the example of the obscure examples for the obscuring phenomena. In an ugly lotus, swamp bees, husk, filth, earth, peel of a fruit, tattered garment, womb of a woman, and an earthen mold.
Sanje Janzi Nimbo Sing say got a Tupchati, Sanje Janzi Nimbo say Jamba Susan Jenny, that is Dotuni Shahura. Sanje Janzi Nimbo Sing, Session Deshi Jamba Sing, Region Gudan Koloi, Yuashida Seswishing, Samja Kamji Nimondo, Mandra Toma. Mebane, Simji Rashi, Timeni, Toma Imbaje, Satalati, Tewati Teresha.
And what is obscured is like a Buddha, honey, kernel, gold, treasure, tree, precious image, universal monarch, and the golden statue. So these are in brief. And then the verse 130 130, explaining the meaning. The coverings of the afflictive emotions in the continuum of sentient beings, because of not being related with the nature of the mind, are advantageous but have abided beginninglessly together with the element of a superior qualities. However, the undefiled nature of the mind is said to have abided as the great pure nature without being polluted by these faults beginninglessly.
Semjen kamji nyumombu mandre thoma mebane semji rashi chimene thoma imba jaba che seti tsawati che so
Semjen kam
nyumombu tanda di dakta duwa tajin di tsawati taji yage tsawatang jiwa te kanga she tsani tsawatan dewa si jik tuan songa tanda o tiki tsawati tanda di maa she tsani tanda Semjen kamji nyumombo mandre thoma mebana semje rashi chimame thoma imba joba je seyadigi tadi teche ti dewa tena ngaju tila lo shahadi.
So this is the the expanded explanation of all the root of the previous roots.
그래서
단대 출로가 가르래 했어요.
다징에라 얘기 들려 요한 주먹고 배 강가 셰선인데 아니
상계전지 다든 수
삼자와다 자와다 제와세 전송아 되게 삼자와다 자와다 제와시 간을 자와데 가와레스나 따디.
So when we talked about the expanded So when we talk about types of the osculation of the basic element, you had the link, the expanded explanation, and summary, and then the link begins with the expanded explanation, beginning with the root text. So the root text is 130.
Bemi buna sanje xing xie wan na sai buna sai su xing xie jian ne xie duo xie, 是吧？但是得了样对不起，咱别的对不起最多，但这里我得了什么样看见你们个不让心机马主去，什么让心了马主，他妈没把那要把谁的找我的钱，对我的多对那谁的找我的钱，这第三个是这是这个清查说，是吧？
그냥 가디가도 숨겨.
So I think you're looking, because if you went ahead, and then they must need to go back. I think you're looking at the further one. You should be looking back further. You're still under the...
这多，也算。
It's really clear here. This is the third one. He's just went through these verses. So we're not over here yet.
저와는 저와 통보. 이발았어. It's still...
He's reading verse 130. He's reading the text, not verse 130. It's on page 170 at the top.
Oh, I'm sorry, page 169. That's helpful.
네, 그래도 어디? 다 들리지 않으냐? 한번 도와주나?
그것도 패시하나? 아니,
야,
이쪽.
다 되나?因为被什么就全下不得了，但是这马不去参与干了，但是这谈不得，看上，自己去也哇现在了，俺你他们家找我这话说明也比难呢，他们家我的叫也我下把一些，他们家的爬线的也我下把得了找我的这话一些。
So with types of the obscuration of the basic element, then you have the link, the expanded explanation, and the summary. So with the expanded explanation, you have the root and the commentary.
나 진짜 다시 다가라래. 차단다나 뭐나지 대중에 자와등에는 키슈에 마 자와의 신통거래. 그러나 차단다나 뭐나네 군당 차단 파차단 통공람바 마바단 답이살아 땜바이 세지 다티 여기 도den기 시에기 div자시고 시에기와래 ten지 div자시고데.
So the divisions of the obscurations, the divisions of the obscurations are the the 9 forms of defilement, the latent seeds of desire, hatred, and obscurations, which are overcome by the exalted wisdom of a superior, the strong arousal or manifestation of those 3 poisons, the level of the predispositions of ignorance, which are the means of achieving the uncontaminated actions, and the mental body in the continuum of a four destroyer, and which are to be overcome by the exalted wisdom of the great enlightenment, the object to be abandoned by the path of seeing, which obstruct a common being from seeing reality, the object of to be abandoned by the path of meditation in the continuum of a learner superior, the objects to be abandoned by the seven impure grounds, which are to be overcome by the pure grounds, and the defilements dependent on the pure grounds, which are to be overcome by the Vajra-like meditative stabilization.
군단 차단 파차다 세도 치와소소 교보 대바 대자단 자유지라 여봐 지대내 대위 이시기 선발줘봐 컴 공반이 편발시비 내 끝내 long 와쳐봐 대자당 시간하다 대자 차당 세디 두시라고 하래 치와소소 교세나 남대 마도비 소소교 다 대발을 대자단 차이 유라 대발을 대자단 차이 유라 여봐 지대는 대위 시기选拔切吧对比你们帮了安尼看着呢对吧了对家的差别看啥个越来越吧지대는 대위 남지选拔是呢安尼怕别那么的呢一些的一些那么的呢选拔切吧
怕别那么的吧
怕别那么的呢지대는 대위是选拔是呢怕别那么的呢是选拔切吧
The first 3 are desire, anger, and ignorance in dormant states, which initiate propelling karma for birth in the 2 higher realms, and which exist in the continuum of ordinary beings divorced from desire for the desire realm. These will be destroyed by the supramundane gnosis, by the Arya path.
감选拔切吧감 공만이 편발 체비 내군의 long 체비 대자당 세디 감 공만이 편발 체바하서라 수당 수미 내 송간데 간데레서나 치와 소소교 아니 대발라 대자다 차와 대비 님은 운주와 빵와 된다위디 대비 운주와 차와 뒤질래 여봐 내지 수질래 와서 된지질래 여봐 다 지대는 대비 시기选拔차와서나 지대는 대비는 팔람을 때는 빵와 차와 임바 내디 세버 대자의 간데레서나 컴컴만이 편발 체비 내 귀는 long 차바기 대자 시가나 대자 세대 다 고만이가 야자기 그래 대자상
탄다 수다 수멜라 펜제기 레기
펜버체비 레군나차 컴컴만이 펜버체비 레군나 long 대자상
So and then you have the desire or the attachment which which generates the type of karma that propels a rebirth in the form and the formless realms.
다디 대니 대제라 되게 되자대에서 차당 세디 되자대면 소해 말이야. 와 차당. 당당 세디 되자 세당당 세디 그냥 놓아 줘봐. 되자당 세당당. 가서디 쇼바지와 칸코만 이거나 집에 되자당. 세당당 몽바집이 띠무 팔아냐 숨보태. 되자당 세당당 아니 몽바당 띠무 팔아냐 당 두숨대 군당 차보 다 소남지 내당 소남 많이 비군에 long 쳐봐 스나 저와 소남도 소남 많이 빌래가 대박이 된로 편지기 내라 소남 길래당 난로 편지기 내라 아니 소남 많이 빌래 자기가나
So arising from the desire, anger, ignorance in dormant states, then what is initiated are the karmas that bring forth the rebirth in the higher realms, those karmas that are meritorious, non-meritorious karmas.
차당 당당 몽바당서 이당 여자당 세당당 몽바 당 띠무 팔아냐 두숨보디 군당 차보서나 문주어디세 대저보디 소남지 내다 소남 많이 빌래 군에 long 쳐봐 아니 대바 당감 바시 주바 쳐봐 소남다 소남 많이 비길래 제라 때네 아니 대비께와 바시 주바 쳐기 와래 아 대자 대라 때나 강콤이 깨와야 당 아니 대비께와 주바 니가 요와래
So, and then you have the karmas that are generated out of the manifest form, forceful arising of the three poisonous minds. Three poisonous states of the minds. The forceful, the karmas that arise from these, then they can be virtuous or non-virtuous, but the karmic result from these bring rebirth specifically in the desire realm. And in the case of the previous, the karmas initiated by those dormant states of desire, anger, and ignorance, have karmas that bring rebirth both in the desire realm as well as in the two higher realms, the form and formless realms.
대자다 제단다 몽바 띠무 팔아냐당 두숨보데 군당 차보 다 소남지래다 소남 많이 빌래 군에 long 쳐봐 당감 바시 그 주바 쳐봐 제체 이게 차당 당당 몽당티 군당 차당 세대 두 친구들
So you can have the dormant states of desire, anger, and ignorance, as well as the forceful arising of these three poisonous minds, which specifically generate karmas for the desire realm.
아니 소소기위기라 말이 파자당 소소기위기라 여바당 파바 여비기라 여바 데 말이 파자대 체 차당 당당 차다 당당 모당의 군당 차당 파자당 세대체 다통 안에 죽기나다.
And then you have the imprints which exists in the continuum of the arhants and also also existing in the these imprints that also creates the uncontaminated karma. So these kind of imprints exist in arhants as well as in ordinary beings.
어디니 소소기위기라 여바 통반당 파바르비기라 여바 광반당 아니 마다사든지 야 마다사든네 가사 길라 여바기 아니 치마당 다바사송 다바사송은 내위 아니 간사가 길에 비크마 다 못하대고는 쳐와 많이지 있어 천인민들고는 쳐가래
So you have the abandonments of the path of seeing, which is in the continuum of an ordinary being, and the abandonments of the path of meditation, existing in the continuum of the Arya beings, and then you have the defilements that are found on the impure and the pure levels, impure first to seven, the 7 levels, and the 3 pure levels, defilements that are found there. So these are differentiated by the different entities, not by the different entities, but because of the difference in the characteristics of these defilements.
사변 자기를 쫓아와 태면바에 쉬어임바 인상 도숨지 발라냐니 사변 바시기 왕도 차와 마인데 감고만 두지 그 녀몽 온조 봐야 도숨그 발라냐기 나를 띄와래
So that the 3 poisons in its dormant states then doesn't refer only to the seeds of the 3 poisonous mind, but it also includes those kind of manifest forms of the 3 poisons that are the causes for rebirth in the high realms.
인상 감고만 두지 그 녀몽 온조와 양에는 두숨게 나니 여자다 말을 많이 온주와 강코마를 요와체 다들 가르잖아 두숨을 발라냐래 세당 온주와 강코마는 말이
So the manifest forms that create the cause for the higher realms are attachment and ignorance. Manifest form of anger does not contribute towards rebirth in the higher realms.
감은 고마워 가사되라 이등이 진지 제배 아니 라라 내봐 채소 내봐 채로 주와 랑게 자올라 내도 아니 내봐 채소 내봐 채바 주로 세 아니 랑게 자라 팬다서 팬다 너서 팬도바 주로 세 들리기 내봐 집이 시구대 이등이 진지 제바 인상 태매와 인사 세당 요아 말이스 아디난도 민도 등에 다가 하잖아
So
감고만 나라 세당 요아 말이스
in the higher realms in 감고마사 수자 수멜
수자 수멜
the higher realms here specifically referring to the form and the formless realms, then in those realms of existence the reason why they don't have this kind of minds of discrimination of that this enemy is harming has harmed me, is giving me harm, and that this is my this is my friend, and has benefited me, and like that. This kind of sense of this kind of biased sense of discrimination does not exist in the mind of the beings in these form and formless realms.
인상 감고만 두지지 녀몽 온주와 세야제 과지를 공부를 했으나 감고만 두지기 녀몽 온주와 세야제 감고만을 껴와 년뒤 잠바 땡제 양라 중이가 난게 안에 세바다 렘바니라 고고하래 세바지 되는 거지.
When we talk about the manifest afflictions that establish, form and formless realms of existence, how is this understood is that it should be understood in the context of referring to the links of the 12 links, the links of craving and grasping, as the manifest afflictions for establishing form and formless rebirth.
다들이 편식이 유지기 내야 되기 원도 안에 가르쳐서나 컴컴한 지와 편식을 내기 편식을 내주 군론도 주 말이바 원도 저거와 인상 아니 말이바 요와 인상 다들이 차단 당당 몽당서 차바다 몽바니 요아리 서 다 제당 요아 말이 스도스를 자요거든.
So in order to accumulate the karma that propels that kind of rebirth in the form and formless realms, then you have to have ignorance and then attachment. So for the accumulation of the karma for being reborn in the form and formless realms, then you have a desire and ignorance, but not the anger.
인상 컴컴한 두지 세단이 은주 마인데 세단 은주 컴컴한 편제다 두지 강도야 미루미실 세다 두지 둔전들이
So therefore there is no manifest form of anger because for accumulating the accumulating the karma to propel a rebirth or to accomplish that particular karma of a form and formless realm, then there's you don't need the anger there.
Oh yeah, 들리다. 이완이 세다 이완이 자와디 저와디와 말을 가서디 배담바디 이와 배담바디 루지고 여와당 루지고 여와당 배담바서 여와야 당보디 여와도 칭찬했다. 나 배담바텔라 감집지 주마고 뺨이 빼라서요 빼니라도 땡데 주말로보고 시위치도래
So the illustration of the obscuration by the examples is for the purpose of establishing that the defilements are advantageous.
다들이 관소래도 sabse mambo shochete 아니 다사유와 타야바 땜바 세야되라 아니 예와에 예나니 예모비 부지니 사유예와 체나 아니 예와 탈레와 대와 요와레 세체 that's our command to
so the 9 defilements obscuring the basic element are well taught by the similes as the covering of the lotus and are for the purpose of realizing that the defilements are advantageous. Then you have the limitless divisions.
주만하고 빼마에 부서변이 랍된데 주만하고 빼마에 부서변이 랍된데 빼마나시 좋아 인일전에 빼미 부나 산재시시 세번 세수시 전에 계속 좋아 다 딜리디 그 사위에 바타야 봐야 되라 진짜 가로 다 된다지 가서로
Just read verse 132 are indicated by the 9 examples of the covering of a lotus and so forth. And for the limitless divisions, we have the last 2 lines of the verse 132. But the divisions of coverings of afflictive emotions are beyond the limits of measure. So then you have the commentary, which is the brief teaching on the adventitious nature of the defilements.
차소 주마 고보니 도디나니 빠미 불라선 빼고타니 안다 때 세다다지라 주마로보 여바 돌담바다 소시 라신 제와 샤바 이나니 다 담보 돌담바데 돌드나 니몬 돌드나 니몬 고보 데다 티신시베 카메라신 남바 타바라 레 상제지 수라 소와라 빠미 불라 소와 따르 섬지 라신라 마슈비 차롱 로보바니도 여도
So, the brief teaching is on the adventitious nature of the defilements. Is to summarize, these 9 afflictions covering the naturally pure Tathagata, the basic element, are like a lotus covering a form of the Buddha, etc., in the sense that they are not part of the nature of mind, but are adventitious and can be removed.
Then
the second part is a detailed explanation of the nature of each defilement, the names, and then the definition of each.
두순지 발라냐당 원주 셰바당 아니 마리베 파자지 사셰바 통바나 고마 셰바 마다바사 사베 살라데베 트마 셰바 다빠양지 두성거리
So the names are, this runs from what are these 9 up to and found on the pure levels. The word forceful can also apply to afflictions that initiate acts such as killing that create the low realms, and the definition of each is under this outline of 3 poisons, dormant and manifest, the ground of the predispositions of ignorance, and path of seeing and path of meditation, abandonments, defilements found in the impure and pure levels.
두순지 발라냐당 원주 셰바 마리베다 타진 콘트 셰바 나시 원디 가나 담보라 니 두순지 야당 아니 문제 셔바텔라 방자 시안 남자 통반다 공방 방자 시안 남 두숨지 발라냐당 두숨문도 잡아주서 뒤에 통반다 공방에 있어 뒤와래.
So the 3 poisons, dormant and manifest, they are all subsumed within the objects of abandonments of the path of seeing and and path of meditation.
다 다중에 공도시 쉬어 나시리 다른 저게 가상길 연결하지 문주와다 사베 림지 뽕와탕 문주와다 사베 림지 뽕와탕 티바 멤비 자좀 최위치 방자 상마 지점 려와 시위치도 다들 이와데 샤바레 군다 파라냐다 문주와다 머리 파자기 자다 통강다 공방 샤바레 만도 뒤에 방자 탐자 그 토마 공방이 있고 아래.
So in the reason why it is detailed in this kind of dormant, manifest or forceful arising, like the why you have this kind of, it is to although everything that needs to be abandoned is subsumed within the the objects of abandonment of the 2 paths, path of seeing and path of meditation, but why it has been sort of enumerated in this kind of manner is to make clear the stages by which what gets purified and what remains and so forth, what remains to be purified, to make that clear. Then you have this kind of detail.
네인다 자주 토비잖아 두수무 군단 잡보다 문지와 강방 타니 아니 다 가래하고 와래서나 말이 바자기 싸다 바자하고 와 인장 아니 말이 바자 사티 제수자 거디 자좀 발개와리 다좀 있길래 하야 디라고 예산 디시우지도 디지를 말이 바자세 디레스과래.
So when one attains the state of an arhat, then one has abandoned all of the all of the affliction, the forceful arising of the three poisons, but what and the afflictions, and so what remains to be abandoned for an arhat are the imprints, the predispositions, the grounds of the imprints of the ignorance is what still remains for an arhat.
나 dimate 차보죠 요래. 다 되라. 지대미 대자단 차위 주나. 스나. 감순지 녀모 요아체. 예배 녀모. 수지 녀모. 수메기 녀모. 좋아. 나 디나네 예배 녀모 되라. 문주와 지대미 나나 탈람하도메. 치러 와라야. 예배 녀모 온주와 반 퇴야기. 아니 람시 3대 용어시 3대 예도다 무실했다나 방거리 인산 된다디 이 두수송도 가서 tel라 직된비 되자당 차와 스나 직된비 람천이 봐 많이 받체 치료와다 투몽기 아니 대배님은 문주와 아니 빵 뽕하기 남들라 직된비 남식 뽕아치비 파자면한테 직된비 파자면한테라 텐데비 직된비 파자면함 때라 때네 아니 대비님은 문주와 빵비 가사되라 직된비 되자다 차게 가사 스테시야.
So on these abandonments, the commentary says afflictions in the continuum of those divorced from worldly desire are causes of unmoving mental formations in the sense that the ripening of the karma brought on by these afflictions cannot be moved or changed to other levels. Ramsha just said that you have afflictions, afflictions of the desire realm, afflictions of the form and the formless realm. So manifest afflictions of the desire realm then can be sort of halted by worldly paths. Worldly paths means a worldly uninterrupted path, and by an outsider, not these manifest forms of the afflictions of desire then can be stopped or can be gotten rid of by means of employing a worldly path.
Yes, right. Oh, tenderly, 직담비 가서 대비 원주와 단 차비 어직담비 대자단 차비 가서 되게 유비 다 되게 내서도 가라 여버리 지와 편식을 내대 속여 말 내거리라 메소바 가래서나 이모 대바 제시기 이모 원주와 차와 인자.
So, in the case of such an individual who has gotten rid of the attachment of the desire realm, then when this individual accumulates karma, then that karma does not bring rebirth in the desire realm because it has stopped the attachment of the desire realm.
내가 속여 말에 다 무서워이다 가래 속여래 해서나
So if this individual no longer accumulates the karma to be reborn in the desire realm because of having halted the attachments of desire realm, so what sort of karma is this individual accumulating? Is the karma to be born in the form and the formless realm?
강화만 지와 편식이 내더라 미오비 내식도와 저버리 지와 편식이 내더라 저버리 지와 편식 대회 내더라 소남질래 저버리 아니 뭔가서 지와 편식이 내더라 소남 많이 빌래 다 강화만 지와 편식이 내더라 대회 내면 돼요 말이 다 대회 내면 돼요 대라 미오비 내시 미요의 레서의 강에서는 저 편적이 레되기 감고만 저 편적이 레사 전제 자서나 아니 남이 저와데 감고만을 저와만도 현도 미요와 인상 미요의 레 스타투스제 미요의 레 미요의 되게라서 주 스테스과래.
So the ripening of the karma brought on by these afflictions, for this individual who has gotten rid of the attachment of the desire, then the karma brought on by these afflictions of this individual, then that karma is known as the invariable karma, as is sometimes, or immovable karma. Here in the commentary, it's like unmoving mental formations. So that usually you have these three types of karma: meritorious karma that brings rebirth in the higher realms, humans and so forth, and then a non-meritorious karma that bring rebirth in the low realms, hungry ghosts, animals, hell, like that. And then you have this invariable karma, or immovable karma, because this particular karma takes effect only in the form and the formless realm and cannot take effect in the other, cannot take effect in any of the other realms other than in the form and formless realms. So in that context, it is known as the unmoving mental formations, or invariable karma.
나한테 남파도 와라. 지금의 매제스가 수라지 감시 수라 사시와래. 그봐 수라 삼대 담보 니와 숨바 시와시. 그봐 수메라 난가타에 남시타에 지금의 시제 전시와래. 그봐
So then going to the commentary, although all the manifest afflictions of the realms up to the realm of nothing at all can be abandoned by the worldly path of coarse and subtle aspects, afflictions, categorized as those of peaks of samsara, cannot and must be destroyed by the supramundane gnosis. So in the form realm, then you have four grounds or four levels. The first, second, third, and fourth levels of meditative states of absorption, and in the formless realm also you have limitlessly space, limitless consciousness, nothingness, and in the fourth level, the peak of samsara.
Oh, there is that. 지금의 매제지시가라 더바당 안에 삼대 시장 숨에 담보숨 대 담보숨 숨바 지하면 대 만제기 아니 니몽 온주와데 기대벨람라 빠나면 치료가라 빠이와 온주와 기대벨라라 빠이와 인상 에 지하면 만제기 니몽 온주 시라그나바 젠시가라 삼대 뒤즈게 더바라 라바 니미스다 안에 삼대라 안에 시와따위 오 텐데기 시라가 남바 젠지 안에 지담벨람지 오 지ام에 매제기 녀 뽕뉴 그래.
So when it talks about all the manifest afflictions of the realms up to the realm of nothingness, meaning all the manifest afflictions from the formless realms level of nothingness down, meaning below it are the four levels of meditative concentration. All of those manifest forms of afflictions can be gotten rid of by the worldly path. Okay, and so what are some of these manifest forms of afflictions in these four levels of the form realm? Are like seeing the shortcomings of the gross afflictions of the desire realm, and seeing jitembe nyomong rapala
지담이 용마라 니몽 문주와
nyomong monjo bala
문주와 데 시라가 나바체지 람라 떼네스
nyomong. So as Shirak
시라스나 여바라 니미스 라바다 삼단 탐보라 시와다
so they see all of the manifest forms of the afflictions, like in the desire realm, like you have these manifest forms of afflictions. They see the shortcomings of this, and being without such manifest forms of these manifest forms of afflictions, they see it as absolutely gross, like that, and see the shortcomings of it, and being without such manifest forms of afflictions as being peace. So that is what they aspire to attain and what they aspire to abandon. These can be accomplished on the basis of the worldly path. So these manifest afflictions are like of a coarse kind and a subtle kind, and all of those can be abandoned on the basis of a worldly path. In the case of those manifest afflictions from the formless realms, nothingness, and form realms, 4 levels of meditative states, all of those manifest afflictions can be abandoned on the basis of a worldly path.
That's it. Said to you, sume tang sume ke nani ani sijegi jwa pen jejegi ani sebadang lambadang tomi mari bala soba teda ani jigden belamji pomme diba jigdenlan devi shkhone bangure chirowa tomo mari tate.
The karmas propelling the rebirth in the peak of samsara, which is the formless realms, 4th level peak of samsara, the craving, the grasping, and the beginningless ignorance that propel this rebirth. This cannot be abandoned by a worldly path. It has to be an Arya path, or a supreme exalted wisdom.
대다기 사변이 있다. 차단 모순 그 사변이 아니 지대는 남라 되는 봄도 봐. 아니 지대는 대비 남 코나라 되는 방고래. 지대는 바시 그 방와 차와래. 스타에게 차단 단다 모당 세되기 차단 원주와 지당 아니 사변이 샤 원주와데 남 간다 칸 그 봉구와데 셰기와 독시다. 잡아지.
And then, the seeds of the desire, anger, and ignorance, then this can be abandoned only by a supramundane exalted wisdom or gnosis, by the Arya path alone. No worldly path can get rid of the seeds of desire, anger, and ignorance. So in this way, it's showing, the direct, the manifest forms of the afflictions that can be abandoned by a worldly path, and what cannot be abandoned by a worldly path.
다 되자라 소와 제바세 되자 마바바 원도 대비 하다 밀라 소와 기 아니 섬장이 유라 예비 아니 제와 치마 하다 미 편바 치마 편바당 난도 편바 치마 제와 치마 되자가 그냥 란데 아니 가서래 저 개미야지 소와 제와 치마 함이 편바 챙겨기 개미야지 소기나 대라 소남지 레타.
So, the activities that arise out of the mind of desire, in the continuum of sentiments, these activities that propel a rebirth in the God realm, in the human realm, or are known as, a virtuous karma or meritorious karma. And then also arising from this desire are created karmas that propel rebirth in the lower realms.
Otenda yu sono da sono mai bile duchede lede tak kasore nanjo jeju ki sono mai bile duchede kale nanjo jeju ki tende ya chunye na de su chui niwan duche ki tende ta
So
nanjo jeju ki de ani nanjo jewa penje ki le ko ju tende ya chunye ki niwan duche ki le du sha yin ba de.
So you have a meritorious accumulation of meritorious karma that propel rebirth in a higher rebirth of devas and human beings, non-meritorious karmas that propel rebirth in the lower realms.
Tene miduba ko mitingi zinji kombala tene neka ani desha siji nemba yowa unjuwa siji nemba ta chamba kombala tene ane shedang unjuwa siji nemba ta tende yowa re.
And by meditating on the ugliness of ugliness, then you can kind of suppress manifest form of desire, and by meditating on loving kindness, you can suppress manifest forms of anger.
Oh, that didn't match. Didn't that the mambo share to the kaina da? Oh, I told you long water the Kunshi said that. Shimokajomodo, Todulang water the Kunshi Shaji will be said that, Samsam Lucia, Kandu Javato. Then you want to be changes and you were the no. The Mari Pachak said, Shagu said it. To some Chadam Mosum Dampa, and when you were the Shasani. Dam Tijela, Mari Pachati. You want to be Chanju Semba, Yandedan, Ransanje Tajum Jila Yoba, Wasum Jile, Quina Longwa Chebi, Gulong Zowa, Chamo, Saba may be le, Jubi Du, Newmon be Chima, and Yigilisum Duba Cheba, Segata Maribi Pachati Gunonche, Quina Landi, and you are Dujiki Leg Chadela, and Castle. Ani Quina Law, and Samaki Legend, Zoa Chamo, Lunga, Zoa Chamok, some Jew Samba Chiksha. What tell it then, Ani Tasalene, which I just Samba down. Ani Tajneran, Tajobanigi, Ani Javachi, you listen to Bachebaki, Guchekua, to Cheba.
And so now, on 174, the ground of the predispositions of ignorance. So this section talks about the predispositions of the grounds of the predispositions of ignorance, being the motivating factor for the karmic formations of the activities of uncontaminated karma through our physical and verbal activities, then creating this non-afflicted karma, and this become the basis by which the birth in the pure levels occur as bodhisattvas and as solitary realizers and heroes within the continuum of the bodhisattvas who have gained the powers, and of the hero and solitary realizer arhants is the subtle motivational effort which initiates the karmas of body, speech and mind, and is the cause of the non-afflicted karma that produces the three undefiled mental bodies devoid of afflictions, and which will be destroyed by the gnosis of the Tathagata enlightenment. This is the ground of predispositions of ignorance.
Oje, that tigi Tasal Nevi Yaran Trajum Dang, Tasal Nevi Chaju Sambadang, Yaran Trajum Jawalibi, Nyamo Jure Manayang, Ani Tamari Pasha Kasada Samigala Jawalimbati.
So, in short, it's like bodhisattvas in the three pure levels, and arhants the hero arahants and solitary realizer arahants, they do not have any afflictions, but they take on birth on the grounds of the predispositions of ignorance and uncontaminated karma, non-afflicted karma.
가서 유지라시 일이 말랑발라 아니 섬자가 된 첨미도 바인장 섬자가 된 셔발라 아니 말이 바자 그 사람 아니 오 데라 때네 아니 유지라시 일이 되는 섬자가 된 셔바이 체
without these bodies, mental bodies, these bodies in the nature of the mind, there is no way for them to accomplish the activities benefiting sentient beings. So on the grounds of the predispositions of ignorance and uncontaminated karma, non-afflicted karma, then they take on these mental bodies.
because I me go ba. Something tension about the lead Tetalan is something about me go ba. Something with them Bamil Bezo Meba Hindu the Chenuade, and a young tabas of Sanja Konala Yoba Imbe. Ani Tishi Shebagi, Ani Maripaja Samuel led and a Yijirashi little Lilembatian, Bawa Shaba in the Tishi Shamjare.
So it is only the perfect and complete Buddhas who do not have to rely upon a mental body, a body in the nature of the mind, as well as do not have to depend upon the grounds of the predispositions of ignorance, do not have to depend upon an uncontaminated karma for this body, for the purpose of benefiting sentient beings. So they don't, for the perfect and complete Buddhas, then their activities engaged in benefiting sentient beings is completely spontaneous and effortless, and for them, these kind of bodies. Mental bodies dependent upon the predispositions of the ignorance and uncontaminated karma are to be, for them, is to be abandoned. So.
Okay. Maripaja Sadasa, Yiji Rashin de Lude, Nam Yinji, Nabataji Shibi Yishiki, Shamja Sumba Tiang, Toma Namji Toba, Namji Kaji Tambo Tokura. O Tambo Digi, and a Paja Melam Chene, Tinguny Chene, and a Maripaja decided Pon Chabago Tandara, the Maris. Nyambo de Suri Karesana, Namji Mato Kagi, Ginja Paja Melam, Namji Samjang Ginji Tama. Ani San Namji Toma Castle, Topka Maki, Rawa, Gajini and Namji Toba Chebaki, Ani Nemo Tamjaji. What did he that Maripaja Samegi leg Uliti Munye Chene, and then Namjakaji Tambo Tobana, and the Casore Samegi that Ejirashi lit Pamba de Mato, Namjan Tambo Kaji Tambo taking Yambo Chair, Tena Kaji Pamba to Tamare, somebody.
So, and the grounds of the predispositions of ignorance and the non-afflicted karma is a future. Is what is destroyed by the Tathagata gnosis, and so then it says that the abandoning of this does not occur when one first initially attains enlightenment. It's not like when one, in the first moment of attaining enlightenment, it's not like the one generates an uninterrupted path that gets rid of these predispositions of ignorance and so on. It's not like that, but it's the last moment, the final continuum. The final continuum, the final continuum prior to enlightenment, and And if in the second moment you're going to get enlightenment, the first moment is where it is regarded as the final continuum. In the phase of that final continuum is when these predispositions are completely, gotten rid of, and and then at the end of that final continuum, then you have the state of omniscience. So. This cannot mean that the first moment of omniscience is an uninterrupted path and directly abandons the ground predispositions of ignorance, because it would follow that the process of abandoning would still be present in the mind, and therefore this moment could not represent ultimate abandonment. So if the uninterrupted path at the very end of the continuum of the 10th level were without a trace of defilement, then obviously the first moment of omniscience could not be an uninterrupted path.
남지까지 담보대 아니 방자 뒤까지 담보대 바자 매람 체체네 아니 뒤 말에서 바자 그사데 뻥아 쳐봐이나 아니 뒤 대단한 이나 랑지지 방자 뻥신비 차와다 제와래서 남지까지 담보를 내외 산지 파바데 아니 랑지지 방자 뻥비 차와다 제와래 대체와이나 아니 방바 타도 마도바 타바 아니 끼어와래.
So if one says that upon the first moment of attaining enlightenment there is an uninterrupted path, abandoning these imprints, these predispositions, then you would have to say that enlightenment is still engaged. That state of enlightenment is still engaged in the activity of abandonment, and therefore has yet to accomplish ultimate abandonment.
So when we talk
about the very end of the continuum of the 10th level, means the end of the continuum of an ordinary of a sentient being.
아니 정말 두자면요 말이지 정말 두자면 맨나 남제까지 담보 받자면도 민주와 따지면 남제 까지 담보데 아니 지민이 뭐 민주와 아니 따지면 생활에
So this very end of the continuum of the 10th level were without a trace of defilement, then obviously the first moment of the omniscience could not be an uninterrupted path. The Jungi Tamadela
Jungi Tama de Pajamelamche, Tina, Chima Duzaman, you are Maris, Chima Tang, Riva Duzaman, you are Maris, Temena, Gajitambola, Pajam, you are Maris, Pajamelam, Tina, you, remember the Dashime. 저 매와 인상 연보치에 아니 용 바자면은 뒤나 가서 난지까지 한번 바자면은도 민주와 따지면 난지까지 담보대
남기케시 담보대
바자면은도 민주와
미규마레스. So the very end of the continuum of the 10th level is without any of the trace of obscurations or defilements whatsoever, and so therefore, how could you say that the first moment of enlightenment is now an uninterrupted path? It would.
사실 긴지 바자면은 같으나 정말 누자면 매 집어 누자면 매 집어당 누자 정말 랑주를 요아 말에디 집어당 제와당 정말다 제와 인라고 하래. 와 정말 누자 매바데 당원 배거니 공부 중앙의 고바체바 님부 줄에 제와 인상 정말 가와 좌체 정말다 제와인데 집어당 제와다 정말다 제와인데 단달날 미치비 최전도 제와 말에 날 미치 최전 더와 제와데 남지 토바다 되냐도 날 미치 시장 제과래.
양주쳤습니다. 저마다 제바레스.
저마 요아 말에디 저마다 제바레스.是吧? 저마 매바데 거래에서나 지민 년보 파제면은 랑주를 제바 인상 년보 제바당 방자 가바 튀냐면에 공부 중앙의 고제바 다녀라 체. 是吧? 다 저마 매장 저마다 제바 인바의 가래 저마다 미지 위치전의 제요 말했어.
So here the 균 탐에게 사주 균 탐아 쓴 거라. 균 탐아되기.
진지내가 균지 탐이 균지 발이나.
So at the now still talking about the very end of the continuum of the individual of the 10th level, when we talk about being without trace of defilement, we say is without any trace of defilement, but is with defilement. There's a distinction. How it is distinguished is that is without any trace of defilement, because you have generated all the antidote where it has removed it, but it is still with defilement because you have not enabled it at a level it will never arise again. Because enabling it at the level where it will never arise again would happen when you become enlightened.
What is it? That Tabasasum la tembi chima. Tabasasum la tigana such Yabako Chosum la tembi, and the chimati, Dojita everything is Shamjar. Dojita everything is such in the Pajaman Shamjar. Ano one shene. That did any carasana. Tishy be from Jashaba, the carre sina, and the Yagasonga.
So then for purifying the defilements of the 3 pure levels, then they are destroyed by the Vajra-like samadhi, Vajra-like concentration. And then the question, why is these, why are these dispositions of ignorance to be destroyed by the Tathagata gnosis?
That Tigila, Mari Pajaji, Sa, Tawa Tatuba, such a Jindia Pajab, and I'm almost upon one young. Tawa Tatuba, the Poma young. Such you Jindala never Kasatigi, Yiji Ranjin, Lambala, Dene, and Samjana Chetambaso Chena. Anita, Gulong to our Tramo that Jashi to Chetam go great.
The subtlest ground of the predispositions of ignorance is directly destroyed by the end of continuum, uninterrupted path on the 10th level. However, if this 10th level continuum arose in the form of a mental body and were to teach and so forth, it would have to do so with very subtle motivational effort.
Gulong to Wataji Chetangue, Tendi Ledan, Lusaber Panes, Tendi Ledan, Sameki Ledan, and you lead the Saber Panes, Samjana Chetambani, Ayanda on the Chawa, Sana Sanja Bashirama, you are married, Royanda on the Chawa, Bashiki, Chaju the Shewa Cheti, Chetu to Tadamerso.
So, it is only in the case of those who have attained the perfect state of enlightenment, who accomplish the activities of benefiting sentient beings by teaching Dharma by abandoning such as these forms of mental bodies.
Oh, did it? That didn't cause it. That is Shabachi, that is Shasho Madura. And it's a de Casoreda. Chiri Pangata de Pomala, Yamonia Pachamalam, Pangoata. Yamokuni Pachamalam de Kiwada, Panta de Poma, Panta de Gaba, Tunam de Gita to Struggle.
So, so I will stop here for in the text, and generally for accomplishing the abandonment, then one has to generate the uninterrupted path. It is generating the antidote of the uninterrupted path that directly accomplishes the abandonment. So generating the uninterrupted path and the halting and the abandonment, cessation of the removal of the abandonment is simultaneous.
다 텐데 인자 지단 텐데레데 다 가서 련유 유왕 그 겨와데 반뒤 잡아 내가 님보 파챵매람 찌네 아니 티제라 아니 련유 유왕 그 겨와데 방바를 왜서나 대방바 말이.
So, generally speaking, it is like that. But with regards to, say, karma and afflictions, for abandoning karma and afflictions, do we need to generate an uninterrupted path first, and then, by generating that, then abandon karma and afflictions? If we ask, is it like that? Then that is not the case.
사탕보 톱디 잡아 가상어 말까면 중앙 나시산이 사탕보 톱디 잡아 사탕병원도 저람 그 내가서 파샤면은 온도 송야 말이데 내년 그 지와 그 언니 파샤면은 송야 말이데 사탕보 도대가 내년 그 지와 방 말.
Like when we've attained the first bhumi initially, when we attain the first level, even though we have not generated the uninterrupted path of the path of preparation, we have abandoned birth, birth under the control of karma and afflictions.
대신도 인다 줄라 내년 인다고 코란 그 줄라 탄다 가르에서나 머리 바자 그 사다 사면 그 내라 때는데 깨바티 그 언제 바자만 말이 말아 언제 바자만 하세요 방자대 지디 님보디디 방자대 가야대 말이 많이 봐 가야지 진짜 깨바티 머리 바자 있어서 사면 내라 때는데 깨바들이 그봐 깨바리스 다 남지 도바티나 대방 주고레스
바자말 말했어
바자만 지디서 뭐 대가고야 돼 말했어.
And likewise, in the case of those at the end of the continuum, their birth was initiated by the predispositions, grounds of the predispositions of ignorance and uncontaminated karma, and 디 가수래 윤택 유기 안데 야우치 고쳐마서
윤다 유주야 가수래 남지 턱까지 다 못도 되가나 되게 언제 받자면 인스라로 왔는데 그때 지고래 센터 머리 비 너무진지 머리 받아 집이 되자 됐어야 될 거라서나 사탐 인다와데 머리 바자 그 사람 잠에 길라라 때는 깨와티 그 언니 바자이나 인다 아니 인디 바자 면은 깨와당 머리 바자 길라라 잠에 길라라 때는 깨와데 가고 그러면서나 대 가고야 말이 뭐가 가려서나 인다 위깨와 거랑 머리 바자 그 사람 라 때는 깨와래 그봐
양조스나 Did you understand?
하고서
야부치 커머스
그래 장하고서 진다위 깨와 되어와 진다와데 말을 바자지 내다 삼매지 내라 때는 기위 아니 깨와 되게 언니 바자비람 인식으로 와 인자 지름 언니 바자면은 깨와 당 깨와데 방자데 가고야 레스 봐 자 진다위 줄라 사매 바지 진디 깨와데 그 언니 바자면은 진다와데 자고래데 말을 바자 그 사다 사매 길래라 때는 깨와데 가요 말레스 마가바 가르서나 그 깨와데 말을 바자 그 사다 사매 길래라 때는 깨와래 That is correct. Yes, sir.
It's like saying that life doesn't stop.
Yeah,
Stop by that.
uninterrupted path.
Yeah.
In the case of the end of the continuum, of that 10th level, being their birth which has been brought forth by the imprints of ignorance and uncontaminated karma. So this is not removed by an uninterrupted path. Usually we say that when a particular uninterrupted path is generated, a particular thing is abandoned. That is like the general explanations like that. But here Rinpoche is stating in which cases this format does not apply. Like in the case of when you're abandoning birth by affliction and this action karma, that's one way it does not apply. And likewise in the case of the end of the continuum, their birth which has been caused by imprints of ignorance and uncontaminated karma, that is not destroyed by an uninterrupted path. Because the next moment from that final continuum is enlightenment.
Yeah, that is the
base of the
Maripachak Sa. Sangmes. Tanda Krang Sena di Maripacha da Maripachak Sada di Samek Ledi Gabarwas. Gyunthebe.
Duty Maripacha Sada, Samek Led Duty Gabare, the Jawadi Kayo Maris.
The cause for the imprints of the ignorance is stopped, but not the birth in the end of the continuum, the last continuum. Because the birth is still there. What is stopped is the cause for the imprints of ignorance is stopped.
So when for the birth as a Buddha, for the body to be that of a Buddha body, then it does not require an uninterrupted path that abandons that body and allows for the arising of a Buddha body like that. There isn't that requirement of an uninterrupted path. Yeah.
Does that mean then that the liberated path of the 10th level bodhisattva, is that simultaneous with the first moment of
enlightenment?
Yeah.
Kasure zisore gyuntabe namdru lam jora namdru lam da krange tuarda gyuntabe namdru lam da sange tobe kechi thangbo de tunyam derves
Jundawi Chambi, Jundawi Nandra Simari, Jundawi Baranyan che, T. Chambi Lamdo Lamdang, and a Sanja Tabachinere. Jundaw Koran Inga Namdo Lamjimero, Kopachamenare.
At the face of that last continuum, there is no liberated path, because brought on by that end of continuum, an uninterrupted path is the liberated path, which is simultaneous with the first moment of omniscience, which is same like what you said.
No.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Is an uninterrupted path only a supermundane path, or can it refer also to mundane abandonment?
Pache melam dinsu khasre jitenle thebe lam kyangbare jitenbe lam yimba namchu khacha pache melam yimba yorvesa
Tela Pache Melamsana, Jitenle Devi Lam Gores. 직대는 되면 직대미 파체면하면서 대 파체면한 말이 그런 직대미 파체면하면 그랬어. 파체면한 말이었어. 파체면하면 될라 대람 연구했어. 직대미 파체면하면서 직대미 남텔라 때네 뉴몽원주와 리식 고발청게 뽕아청게 될라 직대미 파체면하면서 그래. 파체면한 말이 직대미 파체면한 말이.
For example, the worldly uninterrupted path that acts as an antidote toward the gross manifest forms of the afflictions, those are worldly uninterrupted path. But you cannot say it is uninterrupted path. Uninterrupted path has to be supramundane paths.
Yeah.
It's an uninterrupted path in name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rinpoche mentioned the wisdoms derived from listening, thinking, and meditation. And I believe that he described the wisdom derived from meditation as derived from the meditation of one of the
First.
form or formless realm. Does that mean that one does not have the wisdom of meditation unless one is attained one of those levels of concentration?
단지 gengi 투중의 셔럽, 삼중의 셔럽, 검중의 셔럽, 안 검중의 셔럽이 삼된 당분이 봤송게 검
삼대 당보 연재했니.
삼
이는 컴퓨터 몇 셔럽스.
근데 이나 딱 삼된 당분 뭐 톱도 검중의 셔럽도 용거 얼마 말했어.
검중을 수비심 셔러요. 와도 검중 셔러요. 아무로 검중을로요. 하래. 검중을로다 검중 셔럽 가가래.
검중의 로요레스.
검중 셔러요.
요 말했어. So
세상 곰숨지도요. 하래. 검중 셔럽 생각될 뜻이 고고하래.
wisdom arising from meditation is only from the first level of the meditative state of concentration onwards, up above. So you can say you have the mind that arises out of that meditation, but you do not have a wisdom that arises out of that meditation. The mind that arises out of that.
지난 들렸을라고 말했어. 최상 곰숭기 나게 곰숭기 로당 곰숭기 셔럽당 야 말하는 지당기 아니 가서 곰숭기 셔럽스 민다 차와샤용 그래 봐. 지당 곰숭기 셔럽스 봐. 지당 아니 곰숭기 셔럽스 얘가나 근데 시내다 그냥 마도 나야. 아니 유라 소소도 비 셔럽 But
you can also say there is a general form of, wisdom arising out of meditation, like when we meditate and in the course of that meditation engage in an analytical form of meditation, and from such a meditation you can have a general kind of wisdom of that meditation.
대신도 기당의 검증글로 세가나 검증글로 천지 빠지지발라 신의 토고리 신의마도 바로 검증글로 돼요 말이.
To generate a mind which arises out of a particular meditation, and to qualify for that mind having all the characteristics of that mind, then you have to have calm abiding. It is only at the level of having attained calm abiding that that allows for the arising of a mind that arises out of meditation.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Rinpoche talked about the abandonment and cessation. What is the relationship between abandonment and cessation?
빵바다 고파세죠라. And 디니다 개와다 가리
일단 빵바세야 돼. 빵바 천이 받다 고바스 고된 천이 받을 때 차바세요 말이. 소소 따고 니들 밤비 소소 따고 니들 밤비 고된 니들 밤비 빵바스나 집을래온 거래.
Generally speaking, abandonment and cessation mean the same thing. Through analysis, then bring forth a cessation of something like that. So, generally speaking, there is no difference.
다시 그냥 직대 빌람지 토비 다시 직대 빌람지 토비 방장원주와 시가비 가봐 방바주와라 대양 대라 다이고밤 직대 빌고 직대 빌라가 되는 좀 고바스게 말고 고대 천이만 말이
Then, by employing a worldly path, you can have gross forms, of coarse forms of abandonment. So those are regarded as nominal forms of cessation and not a cessation in the true sense of the word. So, cessation that has been attained by depending upon a worldly path, because whatever abandonments are accomplished at that level are just partial abandonments.
In terms of the cause of the mental body, what is the difference between influence of ignorance, manipacha, and the ground influence of ignorance, manipacha?
You weren't here this morning.
Sorry.
Mari pacha da mari pacha ki sa keba.
In terms of the cause of the mental body, cause.
When you say grounds of the imprints of ignorance, that is defined as the cause for the mental body. Yeah.
So when you talk about the wisdom, having studied wisdom, reflected, and meditated, is this wisdom when we talk about the two kinds of accumulations of merit and wisdom? Which one does that belong to?
The some gomsum le chungwe shirap di the chogni na ne khari khus to gre sor.
다 들리니 요래. 강라 저 스케럽기 강라 제사기 유대라 아니 동반이나 소바든지 이나니 아니 양이식 소라줘에 와 아니 양이 같이에 남지를 받아서 된데기나 소나무 소라줘에 간제 가르서나 수구주직이 주직이 이나니 셰럽디 수구주직이 줄어야나니 아니 소나무 소라줘에 셰럽지 최고주직이 줄어줘야 셰럽지나니 아니 이식 소라줘야 또 그랬어.
You know, when that wisdom has as its object of analysis emptiness, then that kind of wisdom is the cause for generating the merit of wisdom as opposed to merit of virtue. And when that wisdom is engaged on the method aspects of the path, which are the causes for accomplishing the form body, then you have that kind of wisdom. So that way, depending on the object of the engagement of that particular wisdom, whether its object is the emptiness or the method, then accordingly, then you have the categorization of accumulating the merit of wisdom and accumulating the merit of virtue.
야야, 나장이다. 시베지 조심해도다 아들자원이 신인데 상제 신도 미디 보와예 조근난다 신라지바 이당 구로라나 면다라 간이야다야미 자주선조를 보지 마지바나지 제와냐바 메바